And welcome back as we come to you live from the Hy-Vee High School headquarters, where Hy-Vee proudly supports the student athletes, coaches, officials, and teachers of Iowa high schools. Hy-Vee, making life easier, healthier, and happier. Aaron Gurnis, the producer on the TV side. On the radio side, he is Kevin Cunningham. I'm Tony Etsenian tonight, Mike Rickard. Enjoying, well, not enjoying, because you think you're in Florida, you're enjoying the weather, but he got caught up in hurricane-type weather yesterday in Florida, and hopefully he'll get back safely. Everything's back to somewhat normal. They got their electricity back about 3 or 4 hours ago, so hopefully things are better. We'd like to thank our our feast people tonight. Boy, it was great. Montana Mike's, big steak country right here in central Iowa, right at 5030 Northeast 14th Street. Both locations, the one in Newton and the one on Northeast 14th Street in Des Moines, a stone throws away from the interstate. Great food coming from there. Also, we'd like to remind you about 34 Sports Grill, 2 locations in the Valley West Mall next to Yonkers and in Ankeny on White Birch Circle. Tuesday night is Grand Slam Tuesday. Family of 4 eats for $19.34 at 34's Sports Grill. Thanks to those sponsor, part of our feast here on Friday Night Live, the Spring into Summer Sports Edition. And talking about springing into summer, one thing you know, when first pitch of baseball starts, summer's right around the corner. When the track and field meets get underway and the Drake Relays are now about 28 days away, we know spring is here and summer's close as well. And girls track and field and boys track and field outstanding. Another team that won the Class 4A state title on the boys' side last year was the Warriors of Cedar Rapids, Washington, and the head coach himself, Bill Pinckney, at a track meet as well tonight, joins us here on Friday Night Live. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing good out here at the John Ash Relays. Jefferson posting it here.
Well, you got to get away. How's it? Do they have the concession stand going for this too, like they do in softball?
We got a concession stand, you bet. Grilling hamburgers and brats and everything up here.
Well, the track athletes probably don't appreciate that, knowing that they've got to stay away from that until at least after the events. But, boy, what a tradition over there at Cedar Rapids, Washington, in your area. And congratulations again on now trying to defend that championship last year. But you got some kids you can count on, a lot of some pretty good experience coming back on this track and field team.
It is, and it's early in the season, and running this is really our first outdoor meeting for a lot of them, like Alex Carr and kids like that. This is our first meet after coming out of basketball. So, it's good to see where they are and see how we are and see what's going on this year and see what sort of team we'll have.
Now, in track and field to win a state championship takes balance. We hear about the sprinters, about the middle distance runners, and about the distance runners quite a bit. The forgotten ones are the ones in the field events, and then the 4-bys you get kind of all mixed up, and you don't get talked about maybe as enough unless you win it all. But let's talk about, first of all, your field events, some of the guys that you're going to depend on to help build a possibility of defending the state title.
Well, there's some good kids around here. I really thought Linn-Mar had some great kids last year, and it might have been their first state meet, Our kids right here, I haven't seen the results from today's meet yet to see how kids are doing. I think within the next 2 weeks we're going to see big changes and where kids are going to really step out. I think it's a little early at this moment.
Okay.
I really do. There's some good long jumpers coming. Like the Davenport kids jumped very well over there. The kid tonight went 20 foot here tonight from Kennedy, and I'm helping run the timing system while we're watching the meet. I'll get the names tonight.
Well, on your team, Alex Carr, when you look at the sprinters coming back this year, whew, I mean, just in the 100-meter, the defending state champ, Austin Ebertowski out of Council Bluffs, Abe Lincoln.
Yep.
Austin Carr finished third. Frank Leachman from Des Moines Roosevelt, your own William Griffin. There's a ton of sprinters coming back. It's going to be fun to see how they've developed over from their junior to senior year.
Absolutely. It is going to be fun. I'm excited for the year. It's you get into the season, you want to know how everybody's doing, and as that temperature starts to warm up, that's when things really start, cranking along, and the kids start watching each other. They get on that quick stats, and it's amazing to see what the kids all know what each other has done, which is another great thing, which really adds some competition to it.
Yeah. Coach, we've talked to a few people, and it's hard to understand, I think, for the novices, even myself. I mean, I kind of understand it, but these kids have to also understand how to pace themselves and not to peak too early. We hear that term a lot. And also how to kind of take your body and let it re-energize, too. You can't just continuously work out. And track is one of those events or one of those types of things where it's kind of addictive, and the kids really enjoy it so much they feel like they have to do it every day, and that takes a little bit away from their body. Do you talk to them about taking care of their body and how to re-energize it?
What we've done is we have adjusted our workout schedules to match our meet schedule. We like a regular meet schedule, and we adjust our workouts starting with the very first day of the year, and we go and get into that rhythm and stay into that rhythm throughout the rest of the year. We don't work, I'm talking our 400 kids on down. In the old days, it used to be Mondays we did 300s, Tuesdays we did 350s, Wednesdays we did combinations of them, Thursdays was like our pre-meet, and then Friday we had a meet, or Saturday. And so the old days workouts like that, we look at more like our middle distance workouts or distance workouts. Our sprinters want to run fast. You can really put so much stress on that central nervous system that we watch how many reps, how many meters they go. We keep a 48-hour or better rest period or recovery period, or we work another system between those workouts, and we stay with that, and we don't get out of it. It helps the kids never really get tired. Another thing that we do is we really identify a certain meet each week where we may go heavy, another meet in the week that we may just go at it and run maybe 1-2 events, or maybe even pull a kid out and let him get a few days rest. As any athlete, sports is so mental, but it's also you have to really pay attention to the stress on them physically, because they're also going to school. You know, a lot of the kids are in music and other things, so really have to watch a lot of things.
Well, that's great to listen and to understand a little bit about it, and of course a lot of parents will need to learn that too, and not just depend on a coaching staff to make sure that they monitor their kids and understand their growth and how to take care of their bodies and their minds. And let's get back to the track and the hurdlers. You've got a pretty special one over there, and Adam Saylor and Kyle Dunn. You talked about Linmar's program. There's the name you're going to hear an awful lot about, and Adam's name may not be mentioned enough.
No, he's an unbelievable athlete. It is such a thrill to watch Dunn run, and it's just impressive. You get kids. He reminds you of Joe Woody.
Wow.
Watching Joey run. I mean, it's very, very, very close. He's a different type of body type, but almost a similar body type with Joey. I just look for his career to just blossom and just get. We can probably see him on TV, the way I think about it, because he's an incredible athlete.
Well, go ahead, Coach. Let's talk about Adam a little bit.
Well, Adam, he's had a great start to the season. We didn't run him today because he had a few cramps in the back of his hamstring. We don't take chances. We just stop it. He's going to run maybe Tuesday and probably Friday, but he's looking great in practice. When we do all our drills and stuff, he's itching to get out of the box. He wanted to run tonight, but we hold him out and tell him to talk to me later,
Yeah.
But we've got a good bunch of hurdlers coming back with him. Drake Hickok out of our relay, and then A.J. Johnson is back with him. And Linmar's got a really good team again. So, we've got some people to go after, and they'll pull us along, I hope.
Well, it's a lot of fun, and I know you coaches have to sit there and decide. A lot of these kids are multi-event type of athletes. You got to figure out your relay teams, how to put those together, and make sure that kids are restricted. What is it as far as track and field? How many events they can participate in at state meet?
A maximum of 4 events. That's it. So, it used to be you could be in 3 running maximum, and then you could have a field event. But now it's 4 events. So it could be 4 running, 4 field, whatever. And so, it takes the first third of the year to figure out where kids are going to perform, where they fit in with the team. And they understand it once they see what we do.
Well, your sprints look pretty solid early. I know you got to regroup a little bit on the middle distance and distance running. Any kids that come to mind right now that you're looking forward to seeing develop as the spring, as we toward the co-ed meet?
I'm looking for Rob Hogue to do well, and I'm not sure if we're going to have 3 guys to run with him in a 4x8. And Robbie can run anywhere from the 4 up to the 1600. And I'm going to keep another kid that's running fairly well right now is Trevor Luby, who's a sophomore. It's just, and then we've got Etienne Niasaba, that is actually Louis Manaruva's younger brother. And
they didn't make the name any
sophomore.
easier, though, did they?
Yeah, no, I know. And so, we've got 3 kids right there that we're kind of keeping our eye on, and I know we want to know how the younger 2 come along to see what we're going to do with Robbie. Soon enough here before we get closer to Drake, we were going to make a decision so he can focus on that the rest of the year, because if he's going to go the 8, maybe the 4 and the 16 somewhere in some combination, we'll do that with him. Or if we're going to have a 4x8, we'll do that too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of decision making, and we've got some younger kids around him. We just need to see how they progress.
We're talking to Cedar Rapids, Washington, Defending State Class 4A champion boys track and field coach Bill Pinckney here on Friday Night Live. And Coach, we talked earlier to Iowa City West girls coach Mike Parker, and a unique situation in Iowa. We talk about it over and over, year after year. But if you're a track and field fan, and even if you're not, to understand what these young men and young student athletes, young men and ladies here in the state of Iowa have the opportunity to do, and that's to run at the Drake Relays with the best of their class, of all classes in high school, with the best of the collegiate level and the best of the world. What an opportunity for these young ladies and young men to learn.
It is amazing. The kids, when they first go there, really what you're worried about is them just handling the big crowd, the college athletes around them, and you worry about the nerves. But after they've had that first experience, you just see it in their eyes. It's the most amazing thing, and it is an absolute thrill to watch them.
Now, I got to ask you as a coach, you get the opportunity to be down there in the track, and I'm sure you're worried about your kids, but, how much of the brain picking do you do as a head coach to get better at what you do with these kids?
You mean at Drake, or
yes,
preparing for Drake?
At the Drake Relays with some of the athletes around there.
Well, for the most part, we get into a mode where we stay by ourselves as we're warming up. We keep track of them, and then there are times when they can go and watch races. And so the coaches like Will Hart, my distance coach, will sit down with his guys, and he'll identify races that they can watch and go out and they analyze things as they're running. And then Coach Blue will do the same thing with the sprinters. So we kind of keep them around so that they don't have to worry about their scheduling. They have some free time to go watch. They come back, now it's time to warm up and get ready to run. Most of the time, though, they're right in there warming up with the college kids, like in the indoor track or over there at the NAP Center. And so they get to see them warming up, and the drills that we do make sense because that's what they're doing at the college level. So they get to see that we're doing similar things, and that what we do is what they'll do in college if they do run track.
Well, Coach Pinckney, it's been great to talk to you tonight. We wish you the best of luck and health this track and field season. And, again, great opportunity. Congratulations, and good luck on defending that title this year.
Thank you, and thank you much for covering all these kids in the state, because they're incredible kids, and it's a thrill to watch them run, and they work their guts out. And I love the coverage that you guys give.
Well, thank you very much, Coach. It's our privilege, and it's our pleasure to do that. Take care.
Thank you.
All right. We'll take a break, and we come back. We're going to continue to talk girls track this time. Hudson girls track and field co-head coach Jacinda Canfield will join us on the Iowa Sports Connection radio and television network.